At this point, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch should just shut up. Stop talking. You're making things worse. And you see this in the past where woke corporations will start blaming the customer that they want for them to buy their product. So he still doesn't get it from the Daily Mail. Anheuser-Busch CEO blames social media misinformation for Bud Light boycott, which has led to 26% drop in sales, as he insists the guy who pretends to be a woman, the partnership was just one post, not an advertisement. And this is where I call it shenanigans. Why is that? Well, even if this was a third-party organization that was pushing us along, there was somebody in the higher-ups of that corporation that signed off on it and said, yes, give it 2 thumbs up. We're going with this. It just doesn't make any sense that they were just sidelined and, taken aback. How did this happen? Well, it's pretty simple. The woke tards, if you will, within the Anheuser-Busch Corporation don't seem to sort of understand their customer base. Now, Anheuser-Busch has a lot of products out there. Not only Bud Light, Budweiser, and Busch Light, etc. They have a lot like Modelo, I think Dos Equis, Goose Island, which is a good beer, by the way. I just mentioned Busch Light, Busch, Michelob Ultra, which I like too. I like beer. So sue me. For instance, if I was in Germany, I would drink German beer. I like German beer better. I'm in the States. Now, you can get German beer, but it's not necessarily the same. It just isn't, in my humble opinion, of course. But to suggest that the public out there that purchases your products is, dare I say, caught up in the misinformation when we see it right here. You had, count them, 2 videos of that carbon-based life form pretending to be a woman. And it was put out. Obviously, someone gave this person in question the green light to put it on their Instagram and all the other stuff, to get into a bubble bath in a bikini. Oh, God. You know what I'm saying here. This guy, Michael Ducaris, he should just shut the ever-loving F up. If he would just shut up and sort of ignore this, it may just go away at one point. He may recoup the drop in sales. And I see it every time I go to my local watering hole, my local grocery store, etc. Bud Light is plentiful. Everything else, plentiful too, but you can tell people are buying it, but they're not necessarily buying a whole lot of Bud Light, Busch Light, Busch, any Anheuser-Busch product. And I was disheartened, if you will. One of my favorite Mexican beers is Pacifico. I love it. I love the stuff. Unfortunately, it's a subsidiary of Anheuser-Busch. I think same thing with Modelo. That's another brand I love to drink as well. And I just choose not to drink any of their products right now. Why? Because this guy, Michael Ducaris, keeps this bullshit up. He keeps talking. He keeps saying, like, all of you are just misinformed. You're taken aback by misinformation and disinformation. No, I wasn't. I'm looking right here. Once the backlash started, that's when you started to say something. But before that, all you had to do is once that crap come out, like, oh, no, this isn't us, and take it. You didn't. You let it simmer for a good amount of time, maybe a week. Or then you file it, and then you fire the third-party marketing team, the CEO of advertising, whatever her freaking name is, and her boss. They got ousted, if you will. So what's the point? It was not just one post, not an advertisement. As you say, maybe you are correct. It just wasn't. But it was the shot that was heard around the world. So what do you expect me, as a consumer, to think about this? Because there's a lot of choices out there. A lot of choices for light beer, regular beer. There's Yingling, there's Coors, there's Miller, there's Pabst Blue Ribbon, who's not owned by any of those companies, which is, I found that kind of interesting. Maybe they are some way down the chain. I don't know. The thing is that the market is huge out there for light beer and beer itself. So when I go out there to purchase said items, why would I choose Bud Light or Busch Light? Even though, by the way, I like Busch Light. Why would I do that? I wouldn't. Now I know what you're going to say, for you woke, insane freaks out there, that, Miller and Coors always on June 1st changed their AVI on Twitter to a rainbow fist. Yeah, they do. Tell me what company doesn't do that. Tell me what company doesn't go out of their way to promote Gay Pride Month or LGBT Get Batman symbols Pride Month. They do that. Every company mostly does that. Except, by the way, their Twitter accounts that are in the Middle East or Russia, they don't put that rainbow fist, if you get my drift. For obvious reasons, of course, because Russia doesn't play that game. The Middle East definitely does not play that game for obvious reasons. So let me go into the story just to dip my toe into it real quick here. So he still doesn't get it. He blames the CEO, of course, blames social media for misinformation, disinformation, for Bud Light boycott, which has led to a 26% drop in sales. Now, for you out there, folks in Rio Linda, understand that 26% is just 1% over 1 quarter. Now, if any company out there has a drop in sales at a 0.25% within the last month, that's frightening and telling, because there's a lot of people out there that aren't necessarily protesting this. We're not necessarily boycotting Anheuser-Busch. We're basically boycotting. Again, I need to mention to you all, especially in Rio Linda, that the market is saturated with light beer. Bud Light is not that good. I prefer Busch Light. Now, you could say it's the same stuff. Maybe, maybe not. Don't know. But it's not that good, Bud Light. Budweiser, the heavy ones, not bad. But I prefer to spend my money on products that don't push some carbon-based life form pretending to be a woman. Because you can't. Oh, you can, if you will. You can. I can pretend to be the Lord Jesus Christ. But I should probably put into a mental institution because there's only one JC. And that ain't me. So, the CEO blamed misinformation and disinformation that was spread online for making people believe cans with Mulvaney's face were being rolled out. But they kind of were. You get my point. He goes on to say, you have one fact and every person puts an opinion behind the fact. And then the opinions start to be replicated fast on each and every comment. Like I said before, in other videos of mine, that this guy should probably just shut the F up. You can't win this fight. It's not. And then when you insist on telling that your customer base is insane or susceptible to mis and disinformation, what are you doing? You're making things worse there, Mike. So I suggest And you got to understand, there are some good people who are on the right side of the political spectrum within Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch. And they're going to probably lose their jobs because this guy doesn't know when to shut the hell up. This guy isn't keeping the finger on the pulse of this nation. A lot of this woke crap, while some of it is being digested by a lot of leftards, there's a lot of people out there, even in the center of the country, that don't necessarily like this at all. So what are you going to do in the future? For you, my fine feathered friends out there, are you going to continue to purchase Bud Light, or are you just going to make another choice with your money? It's not a boycott, it's a boycott. I just prefer not to buy Anheuser-Busch products. And I'm not going to say you out there should follow suit. If you want to follow suit in what I'm doing, more the merrier. If you do not, cool. I am not going to shame you for if I see someone out there with a Bud Light or a Busch Light. If someone hands me a Busch Light, I'll drink it. It's a free beer. Free beer is free. It's something that I don't have to purchase myself. And that's the whole point. I made the choice. So you can make the choice out there as well. Whether you want to purchase Anheuser-Busch products or not. I am choosing not until, they issue a proper apology, not this crap blaming me for not purchasing the product because I was susceptible to mis and disinformation.